The Galactic Federation arrived without warning but not with weapons. Their ships came slowly and formed clean lines above Earth, shining like calm stars. Screens across the planet filled with the same image, tall alien figures with smooth faces and steady eyes. Their voices were soft and measured. They spoke of peace, order, and guidance. They said they had come to help a young world find its place. Many humans watched in silence. Some felt fear. Others felt hope. The Federation spoke as if humans were children who had grown wild without rules. They talked about unity, stability, and protection. They spoke for hours, explaining how the galaxy worked and how dangerous it could be for a divided species. From orbit, small alien fleets remained still. They did not point weapons. They did not threaten. But they stayed close, watching every signal, every movement. Their presence was heavy, like a hand resting on Earth's shoulder. Captain Daniel Wright stood in a quiet control room aboard a human station. He did not speak much. He listened. He watched the feeds and the data streams. He noticed how the aliens never asked questions. They only explained. To him that felt strange. He folded his arms and waited. Around him, officers argued in low voices. Some said the Federation seemed kind. Others said kindness did not need fleets. Daniel did not interrupt. He believed that silence often showed more than words. On Earth, scientist Anna Brooks worked inside a crowded research center. Her eyes moved quickly over shifting symbols and light patterns. The alien signals were clean and advanced but not perfect. She noticed small gaps, tiny delays, and repeating patterns. It told her the Federation was careful but not curious. They were not trying to learn humans. They were measuring them. Anna shared her findings openly. She did not hide mistakes or doubts. Other scientists joined in, correcting her work and adding their own ideas. Arguments broke out, loud and messy but useful. Every mistake was written down. Every question was shared. The Federation watched this with interest but also confusion. Human communication was chaotic. Meetings ended without clear orders. People disagreed openly even with leaders. To the aliens this looked like weakness. They believed strong species followed clear command and control. On the surface, cities did not panic. Life continued. Trains ran. Markets opened. Children went to school. But beneath the calm, humans prepared in their own way. Not with marches or loud speeches but with quiet planning. Engineers reviewed old systems. Pilots ran extra simulations. Teachers changed lessons to include space survival and problem solving. No single leader ordered this. It happened because people talked, argued, and decided together. Captain Daniel met with his crew that night. He did not give a speech. He asked a simple question. What do you think they want? Answers came slowly. Protection. Control. Resources. Order. No one agreed fully. Daniel nodded. Good, he said. Keep thinking. Anna watched another signal stream late into the night. She realized the Federation believed humans would either submit or break. There was no plan for cooperation between equals. That worried her more than any weapon. Across Earth, networks formed. Not secret ones but open channels. Engineers shared fixes. Doctors shared training. Pilots shared flight data. Mistakes were not punished. They were studied. The Federation continued to speak calmly. They praised human creativity, but warned it needed guidance. They offered technology in exchange for loyalty. Many humans debated this offer. The arguments were long and loud. From orbit, the alien fleets did not move. They waited. Captain Daniel looked out at Earth, bright and blue beneath him. He felt no anger, no pride, only a steady focus. Humans had survived storms, wars, and mistakes. They had never been united in neat lines. They survived by choice, not order. Anna sent one last report before resting. They think we are weak because we are divided, she wrote. They do not see that division is how we learn. The Galactic Federation marked Earth as compliant but unstable. A harmless world, they believed. One that would soon accept guidance. They did not see the quiet strength growing beneath the noise. The change came without warning. One moment the trade lanes were open, filled with slow cargo ships and civilian traffic. The next moment, signals failed. Navigation lights went dark. Messages sent across space returned with no reply. The Galactic Federation announced the action in a calm voice. It was not a punishment, they said. It was a lesson. They blocked key trade routes around Earth. No cargo moved in or out. Then, without noise or fire, power vanished from a major human space station. Lights went out. Gravity weakened. Air systems slowed. The station drifted in silence. The Federation waited. They expected fear. They expected shouting, confusion, and desperate calls for help. Their records showed that young species often broke when comfort was removed. Control worked best when it was quiet and clean. Inside the dark station, people froze for only a moment. Emergency lights flickered on. Red and yellow strips painted the walls. Voices filled the air, not screaming but talking all at once. Questions, ideas, arguments. No single command came. Instead, many small ones formed. Engineer Mark Lewis floated through a narrow corridor, pushing himself forward with one hand. He was calm but focused. He checked his wrist display. Power failure across multiple systems. Not damage. A lock. Someone had turned the station off. That's not elegant, he muttered. He opened an open channel, not a command line. Anyone with access to backup tools, speak up. Replies came from everywhere. Old engineers. New trainees. Even a cook who once studied electrical systems. Mark listened. He did not rank voices by title. He asked questions and took notes. Someone suggested rerouting power through an old maintenance grid. Another warned it might overload. They argued. Mark let them. Then he tested a small section. It worked just barely. Share the method, he said. Across the station, people followed the fix. It was slow and messy. Some mistakes caused sparks. One small fire broke out and was quickly handled. No one was blamed. The error was logged and shared. On Earth, news spread fast. The Federation had cut power. Social feeds filled with fear at first, then with ideas. Retired engineers posted old manuals. Students translated technical notes into simple guides. Nothing was hidden. The Federation watched the data flow. They noticed no central authority issuing orders. That confused them. Control usually failed without structure. In orbit, pilot Emma Clark received the blackout alert while flying a small civilian ship. She was not military. No one told her what to do. She looked at the station, dark against the stars, and made a decision. She turned her ship around. The trade routes were blocked but not sealed. The Federation allowed limited movement to observe behavior. Emma used outdated flight paths and manual controls. She flew low and slow, avoiding attention. Her ship carried food, water, and spare parts. Not enough for everyone but enough to matter. When she docked, people cheered then quickly went back to work. Who ordered this run? Someone asked. No one, Emma said. I just came. More ships followed. Old cargo haulers. Personal transports. Even research craft. They did not wait for permission. Pilots shared safe paths and fuel-saving tricks. When one ship failed, others adjusted. Inside the station, Mark worked for hours without rest. He guided teams through repairs using simple language. He explained not just what to do but why. When a system failed again, someone else fixed it before he could respond. That made him smile. Life support slowly stabilized. Lights returned in sections. Gravity strengthened. People slept in shifts wherever they could. Laughter returned, tired but real. The Federation studied the response. There was no surrender message. No request for mercy. No leader stepped forward to beg. Instead, the humans treated the crisis like a problem to solve together. This was not panic. It was cooperation. From orbit, the alien commanders discussed the event. Humans were not following expected patterns. They did not collapse. They did not unify under a single voice. They acted like a swarm, flexible and hard to stop. One commander suggested increasing pressure. Another advised caution. They agreed to wait. On the station, power returned fully after many long hours. The final system came online with a soft hum. Cheers echoed through the halls. Not loud but full of relief. Mark leaned against a wall, exhausted. Someone handed him a drink pouch. You saved us, they said. Mark shook his head. We saved us. Emma undocked later that day. She waved to the station crew through her cockpit window. She had no medals, no rank. Just a quiet pride. Across Earth in orbit, the message spread. The Federation had tested control. Humans had answered without force. The station survived. The Galactic Federation recorded the outcome as unexpected, but temporary. Humans, they decided, had endured only because the test was limited. They did not yet understand that the test had revealed something far more dangerous than panic. It had revealed choice. The tone of the Federation changed. The calm voices grew firmer. Messages arrived more often. They warned of danger, of chaos, of what would happen if humans refused guidance. Their fleets shifted in orbit, not attacking but moving in clear view. Ships lined up in wide arcs, weapons visible but silent. It was a show of force. Across Earth and its stations, people watched the skies. Fear appeared again, but it did not rule. Humans had already learned something important. Pressure did not always mean defeat. Sometimes it meant time to learn faster. Training began everywhere. It was not secret and not controlled by one group. Doors opened instead of closing. Old soldiers trained civilians. Civilians trained soldiers in return. Pilots shared flight mistakes publicly. Engineers posted failed designs along with notes on what went wrong. Teacher Helen Moore stood in a large hall once used for conferences. Now it was filled with people sitting on the floor, leaning against walls, or standing in groups. She did not wear a uniform. She carried a simple tablet and a marker. Today, she said, we talk about what failed. The room went quiet. On the screen behind her appeared a list of errors from recent drills. Missed signals. Slow responses. Poor coordination. No names were attached. Only facts. Helen pointed to one line. This mistake cost us time, she said. Why did it happen? Hands rose. Voices answered. Some explanations were wrong. Some were half right. Helen listened and guided the talk. She never mocked. She never blamed. When we hide mistakes, she said, we repeat them. When we share them, we grow. That lesson spread. The Federation watched human networks grow louder and more active. Data moved fast, but not in straight lines. Information was copied, changed, improved, and sent back out. The aliens tried to track command centers. They found none. Instead, they found clusters of learning. Shipyards changed too. Instead of building complex vessels with many features, humans began to build simple ships. Thick armor. Easy repairs. Fewer systems but stronger ones. They were not beautiful. They were practical. Engineers argued over designs in public channels. One ship failed a stress test and broke apart. The video was shared. Laughter followed, then improvements. New ships rolled out faster than expected. A young builder once asked why they did not hide these designs from the Federation. The answer came from many voices. Because hiding slows learning. In orbit, Federation commanders noticed something troubling. Human technology was not matching alien levels, but it was changing fast. Each failure made the next version better. The warnings grew sharper. A Federation ship fired a weapon into empty space near a human fleet. The blast was bright and loud. The message was clear. Obey or face this. Humans did not answer with words. Instead, training intensified. Drills ran day and night. Crews rotated often so knowledge spread. When someone failed, they were asked to explain it to others. Fear turned into focus. Helen watched one group struggle with a coordination drill. They failed 3 times. On the 4th try, they failed faster. She smiled. Good, she said. Now you know where the edge is. Across Earth, children learned problem solving instead of simple facts. They were taught how to ask better questions. How to work with people they disagreed with. How to fix what broke. The Federation could not understand this method. Their systems relied on perfect orders and clean obedience. Mistakes were errors to erase. For humans, mistakes became tools. A Federation analyst sent a report upward. Human response does not match fear models, it said. Pressure increases adaptability. The report was marked for review. Captain Daniel Wright watched new human ships form up near a station. They were uneven, different sizes, different shapes. No clean lines. No perfect symmetry. But they moved together. He opened a channel to his crew. They think we are stalling, he said. We are learning. The Federation fleet stayed close. Their weapons remained ready. But hesitation appeared in their movements. Small delays. Slight changes in formation. They were beginning to worry. Because the more pressure they applied, the faster humans seemed to grow. And they did not know how to stop a species that treated fear as a lesson instead of a chain. The first strike came without words. Federation ships moved from their waiting lines and cut through space with sudden speed. Light filled the dark as weapons fired. Targets were not cities or planets. They hit ships, stations, and relays. The goal was clear. Break morale. Show that resistance only brought pain. Alarms rang across human space. Captain Daniel Wright felt the impact shake his ship. Lights flickered. The deck trembled beneath his feet. He did not shout orders. He took a breath and spoke calmly. Split, he said. Small groups. Stay talking. Human ships scattered. Not in panic but with purpose. They broke into pairs and trios, moving in uneven paths. Some ships pulled back. Others rushed forward, then turned away. There was no single pattern to read. Federation targeting systems struggled. They were built to face fleets, not clouds. Daniel watched the battle feats. When one group took heavy fire, another moved in to draw attention. When shields failed, ships fell back instead of dying in place. Retreat is not loss, Daniel reminded them. It is time. Dr. James Carter worked in a damaged medical bay. The room shook with every near hit. He tied himself to a rail so he could keep working. Injured crew floated around him, faces pale but steady. Talk to me, he said to each one. Stay with me. He used simple tools. Pressure, heat packs, manual seals. When medicine ran low, he adjusted doses and shared supplies between ships. He taught crew members basic care while working. You don't need to be perfect, he told them. You just need to help. The Federation pressed harder. Their weapons were stronger. Their ships were cleaner and faster. Several human vessels were lost. Silence followed each loss, short and heavy. Then the channels filled again. Names were spoken. Memories shared. Pilots promised to carry on for those gone. Daniel's ship took a direct hit. Systems failed. Power dropped. For a moment, everything went dark. Then emergency lights came on. Status? Daniel asked. Bad, someone answered. But not dead. Daniel smiled slightly. Then we're still in this. A nearby human ship moved in close, shielding Daniel's vessel while repairs began. No one had ordered it. They had seen the damage and acted. The Federation command watched the battle in confusion. Human ships did not fight to win ground. They fought to protect each other. Every move was about buying time. Human ships bent under pressure. Hulls cracked. Systems failed. They pulled back, repaired, and returned. Over and over. Federation commanders increased firepower. More ships joined the attack. This should have ended it. Instead, human coordination improved. Mistakes made early were not repeated. Pilots adjusted paths. Crews learned enemy timing. Damage reports turned into tactics within minutes. Dr. James moved between ships when he could. His hands shook from fatigue, but he did not stop. He spoke calmly even as explosions echoed outside. You're not alone, he kept saying. We're here. That sentence spread through the fleet. A Federation strike group focused fire on one human cluster, trying to erase it. Human ships did not break. They closed in, overlapping shields and sharing power. The formation was messy and imperfect, but it held long enough for others to strike and pull them free. Daniel watched this and understood something. Humans were not fighting a war of strength. They were fighting a war of care. The Federation had no answer for that. As losses mounted on both sides, alien commanders began to hesitate. Their models predicted collapse. Instead, human morale stayed steady. Grief existed, but it did not turn into surrender. The battle dragged on longer than expected. Finally, Federation ships began to pull back, not in retreat but in doubt. They regrouped at a distance, weapons still ready. Human ships did not chase. They gathered their wounded. They repaired what they could. They counted the living. Daniel stood on his bridge, looking at the damaged fleet around him. Smoke drifted through the air. Voices were tired but calm. We're still here, he said quietly. Dr. James sat against a wall, exhausted, hands stained and sore. He closed his eyes for a moment, then stood up again. The war had come. And the Federation had learned something they did not expect. Breaking humans was not as simple as hurting them. Because humans did not fight for victory. They fought for each other. Silence returned to space, slow and careful. Federation ships no longer pressed forward. Their weapons dimmed. Formations loosened. Messages stopped coming. After long hours of watching and waiting, the truth became clear. They were leaving. The withdrawal was not sudden. It was measured, almost quiet. Large alien vessels turned away one by one and moved back into deep space. Smaller ships followed, keeping distance. No final threat was spoken. No apology was offered. On a distant command ship, Federation leaders recorded the encounter. Earth was no longer listed as weak or compliant. It was marked as dangerous. Not because of strength or numbers, but because humans did not behave as expected. They did not break. They adapted. They chose unity without command. This unsettled the Federation more than defeat. Across human space, relief spread slowly. No cheers echoed through the channels. No victory songs played. There was only breath, long and tired, finally released. Ships gathered again, damaged and scarred. Some would never fly the same way. Some would not fly at all. Names of the lost were shared gently, without rush. Each one was remembered. Captain Daniel Wright stood on his bridge and watched the last Federation ship disappear into darkness. He felt no pride, only a steady calm. They had not won a war. They had survived a choice. "Stand down," he said softly. "Help each other home." Dr. James Carter worked through the final hours, checking injuries one last time. He spoke less now. His voice was rough. But every patient he passed smiled even through pain. "You did good," someone told him. James shook his head. "We did," he replied. On Earth, people looked up at the night sky. News spread that the Federation was gone. Some cried. Some laughed. Many simply stood in silence, feeling the weight of what had almost been lost. Scientist Anna Brooks sat alone in a quiet observation room. Stars filled the wide window before her. The signals from the Federation faded into background noise, then into nothing. She replayed old data in her mind. The calm words. The careful smiles. The early belief that humans were harmless. She understood now what the aliens had missed. Humans were not united by rule or fear. They were united by choice. Anna opened a channel and sent one final report into the shared network. "They left," she wrote. "Not because we chased them. Because they could not control us." Replies came back quickly. Simple messages. Thanks. Relief. Promises to rebuild. Shipyards already planned repairs. Teachers prepared new lessons built from real experience. Children asked questions about space, about danger, about working together. The future did not look safe. But it looked free. As human fleets slowly moved back into open space, they did not form perfect lines. They traveled in loose groups, helping the slowest ships, sharing fuel and parts. The scars of war were visible, but so was movement. Anna rested her hand against the glass and watched a human ship jump to light speed. Then another. Then many more. Humanity had been tested by silence, by pressure, and by war. Each time they had answered not with pride, but with decision. They would move forward the same way. Not guided by fear. But by choice.